Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first Crimtan APAC webinar. Um, I'm your moderator and host, Frank. Yeah, it's our first time doing this, so it's going to be fun. Whatever it is, we're going to have a good time. And today our topic is how to build a long-lasting brand success with dynamic creative optimization. And don't worry, I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to what exactly is that, so that you know and be able to follow up with us. Now, before we start, I do want to remind you this is not just a show about me. We actually have two other people that will be joining me in a bit. One is Josh, who is the commercial director of JPAC. He's basically my boss. He's based in Tokyo. He speaks fluent Japanese, so cool guy. And also, I have my dear friend, also great partner, Esther Tan, who is the global marketing director of Plaza Premium, who will be joining us in the discussion in a bit as well. So let's welcome them. I hear you clapping. I don't. Okay, anyway, before we start though, I want to give you a quick little introduction of who Crimtan is and why are we even doing this. So let's do this. So in layman's terms, Crimtan is a programmatic partner. So we basically are a single omni-channel marketing partner that is able to support you in your programmatic efforts. So basically, anything you want to do with programmatic, you can come and talk to us about it. And on the right, you can see that there are a few brands that we are currently working with or have worked before. And you can see that it is in all different verticals. Now, before we go into anything deeper, if there's one thing that a lot of people always question or want to know immediately when they hear that we do digital advertising is data privacy. And I want to rest assure you that Crimtan, as for many big brands out there, we are ahead of the curve on data privacy and compliance. And we also are always ensuring brand safety to eliminate fraud and delivering quality viewability by working with these partners that you see on this screen. And that is also the reason why we're able to work with such big brands like Plaza Premium. Now, one question that you're probably wondering is, what is DCO? And DCO is basically a type of advertisement, that creative that is being able to deliver online a creative message at the right time, at the right place, to the right person. And people will ask, Frank, what's the difference between a static and a DCO? So quickly, static image is basically when you go online and you just see an image, right? The image is just fixed. DCO is when it actually will change based on the audience that is seeing it. So when those two are compared, one thing you will notice is scalability. When you create manual things, you have to do one at a time. But when you create a DCO, it's actually a template. So immediately you're able to scale. You're able to do a campaign that includes multiple languages, multiple countries, multiple audiences, because the template will move, right? Also, when it comes to messaging, for a static image, if the banner says happy birthday, then everyone is going to see happy birthday. But for a DCO, based on who is seeing it, it could say happy birthday, happy anniversary, don't ever talk to me again, etc. So it creates a relevant messaging to how you want the person to see the ad. Also, insights. When something can be moving dynamically, that means that we can learn a lot more about what the person seeing this ad will react to it, right? So I will see a lot more dynamic reporting coming out, based on the audience. If it's a family audience, is what products do they like to click more? Which ad copy did they actually click on it more? All of these things suddenly becomes very, very insightful for our clients. And last but not least, but probably the thing you care the most, is it saves you a lot of money. Yep, because efficiency is one of the best things of having a DCO. Now, instead of having to make multiple banners or multiple creatives, you have one. So you save a lot of money and you can use that budget to use at something else in your marketing effort. So all in all, DCO is the ability to allow you to change your creative in real time based on different data inputs through a single template You can update creative based on any data. And examples could be the things I'm about to show you, but like time or weather. So I'm going to show you a few examples. This was one of our clients that we worked with before. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Subway, of course you have. One of my favorite sandwiches, best sandwiches in the world. And so they wanted to be able to include weather and time into their advertisement. So based on the weather of the day, the ad copy will actually change. If it's a sunny day, the ad copy could say, what a beautiful day. Let's go out for a picnic and have a Subway. If it's rainy, it could say, find a cozy spot on your couch and have a Subway. So this sort of real-time information we're able to pull from our data and then let the ad immediately change. Now, this can also be changed by time of day. So when it's breakfast, we will suggest something that is more breakfast relevant. When it's dinner time, snack time, you might want to have a cookie. So these are the things that you can actually add into your advertisement. There's also what we call a geolocation. So based on where you're holding your phone and where you see this ad, the ad will actually suggest you to go to the closest location to purchase this item. So if you're near the harbor, there might be a location there. If you're near a freeway, we'll send you to the closest location. This really helps for people who have retail locations when they are running a digital advertisement. Also, you can do it for days of the week. I don't know about you, but for me, my mood is very different on a Monday compared to a Friday. So I think an ad copy would be important to say different things to me. On a Monday, I likely would need you to be more warm and kind and encouraging because it's Monday. On a Friday, I'm ready to hit the weekend, so I would love to see if the ad copy can be encouraging, exciting, and that's something that you can actually do with DCO. Now, what I showed you was just an example of a fast food chain. Now, for retail, you also can make your ads be multiple products. It can have a product feed. It can have a slider. As you can see here, IKEA and Barbecue Galore, they are able to show multiple products and letting people be more engaged with the banner. Now, for people who live in countries and regions that speak different languages, here's another thing that you can do. Based on the audiences, the ad can immediately change the language. For somewhere like Singapore and Malaysia or in Hong Kong, I think this is something that is very, very powerful and important, and it makes people feel like this ad is actually designed for them. Now, for my finance clients, I often have people who want to be able to implement API. So here you see an example of putting currency, real-time currency. It could also be stock exchange, but it can also be inventory, right? For a hotel client, you can be putting in how many rooms you have left, and it could be in real time recommending the hotel room that you actually want to push for people to purchase. Last, there's also the countdown, which is a great one for people to use when it's for sales. I've always seen this work really, really well. Nobody would avoid this because who doesn't want a good sale? But giving them a timeline creates an urgency. It makes them feel like, oh, I need to buy this thing before it's too late. So back to what I just talked about, the static versus DCO, I think you're really gonna got a very clear idea of how different these two things are. And I just want to highlight, DCO isn't just about adding real-time stuff, but DCO is also about being able to change what you already designed at any time, even during a campaign. So say, you want to be able to change the banner color background. You want to change, the banner has moved from spring to summer. Now you have to change the ad copy. All of these things could be done during the campaign versus if you did a static banner, you cannot do any of this. So that is also a very powerful thing. All in all, the point of a DCO is personalization. By doing all these little changes, I make the ad more relevant to the person who's looking at it. And what does that do? It helps you it helps you make more money. It gives you better performance, better ROI, and it can also help you lower your CPA. Now, quickly, I just want to say that for Crimtan, how do we implement these DCOs into a campaign? We call our marketing strategy lifecycle marketing. So there's basically 3 stages to this. First, you have your first stage, which is to new audiences, where you're trying to find new audiences. This is where you really want to invest in designing very powerful, rich media so that you can captivate people and people will click on it. Once you bring people onto their site, then it's all about learning how did this person interact with the site. So if Jennifer went on the homepage and then left a few items in the basket, let's make sure that we show them the items that she left in the basket. If she went to a sub page and actually looked at something else, then make sure when she left the website that we bring her something information that is relevant to where she left. That's sort of the second stage of a lifecycle marketing. And this is where you really can drive conversions. But that's not where you end. After that, it's important to bring your customers back, depending on what your product is. In this example of Levi's, so maybe someone bought a pair of jeans. Maybe we can suggest a jean jacket or a backpack or a hat. If it's a shampoo, after a few months, maybe it's time to suggest that they get a new bottle of shampoo. So lifecycle marketing means it's a circulation of nonstop, helping the client come back to get what they need is sort of what we mean by that. So to end my introduction, basically, in order to successfully do a DCO campaign, you do want to make sure that you have the right audience, you have the right design, which is the DCO that we've been talking about, but also you have to have the right DSP, which is the supply. Where do people see these ads? And the good news is Crimtan has all of these in our brand, in our product, in our service. So it's so easy to work with us. And this is also why from the next part of this, we're going to talk to Esther and talk to Josh, just to kind of get an idea of what it's like to actually have someone working with us and give us some feedback. Hello, people. Are you all back?
Hey, Frank. Thanks for having us. Lovely introduction there.
Okay. So welcome, Esther. Welcome, Josh. My first question for you, Esther, is how about let's you do an introduction to who is Plaza Premium Group and the travel market.
Sure. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you're at. So Plaza Premium Group, or PPG as we are more commonly known, is the global leader in integrated 360 airport hospitality services and passenger service solutions. So we provide all this. We have 13 brands under our wings. So I guess some of you may have heard about us. Some of our brands include Plaza Premium Lounge, Plaza Premium First, Aerotel, Always, and Airport Dining in practically 40 countries, so to speak, and international airports. That's over 200 locations worldwide. Wow. So we also build and manage lounges for leading financial institutions and airlines. I'm not going to name names here, but some of the largest financial institutions that you have on your credit cards, that you can see on your credit card logos, are our partners. So in fact, this year, PPG is celebrating our 25th anniversary. A campaign is happening even as we speak. It's going to run all the way to the end of the year, where we're giving away 1,000 travel experiences and including air tickets and products and basically services to all our customers. You know, it's just our way of saying thank you.
Wow.
And also, yeah, really, 25th is a silver milestone in a lot of places, so it's big for us, and it's the first time we are doing something so grand.
And Esther, so if we wanted these free tickets, I think that's what people have heard. we go to the
Make
website.
A booking. Yes, go to the website, make a booking, and make sure you are a smart traveler, because we reward our customers. So Smart Traveler is our rewards and loyalty program. So you can earn points and redeem products and services across our 13 brands, obviously, and our business partners. So go online, make a booking for lounge, hotel, or meet and assist, and then just submit your details, and then you win. It's 1,000 prizes all the way till the end of the year. We will reveal the prices, the different prizes every 2 weeks. So I can't let the cat out of the bag. My team will come after me. So go online and check it out. Yeah, plazapremiumlounge.com. Yes.
Sounds good. I mean, to be honest, I don't think anyone has not heard of Plaza Premium lounges at the airport, especially these days. It's really one of the options that we do have to it's one of the options that is available for us sometimes when we just need a place to rest and also kind of run away from the chaos of airports of traveling these days. So, great. So, Esther, I have a question for you. How do you see the market changing in the next 5 years for travel?
I think it's going to be more digital, more personal, faster, and AI driven. Everything's going to be a single platform where the experience, the transitioning between looking for information and making a purchase, being seamless, and it has to be experience driven as well, because the consumer landscape has been changing a lot in the past 5, even 10 years ago. They're no longer the same. Today's customers are not the same as yesterday. Tomorrow they're going to be even more different. So product diversification is also one of the things that we need to constantly look at. We can't remain stagnant. We've got to keep on changing and enhancing. It's not about not breaking what is broken, what's not broken. Not fixing what's not broken, but more about enhancing the experience. How can we make it better? How can we do better? How can we be ahead of the crowd? So 5 years down the road, it's all about digitalization and personalization.
For sure, for sure. And Josh, what about you then? How do you think that from a tech side, how are you reacting to what Esther just shared?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think Esther just touched on a few things that I can relate to as well, like being, obviously with Crimtan, being an ad tech platform. And I think for me, firstly, Frank, was what you touched on at the beginning of the presentation around data privacy, particularly around consent. In the next 5 years or so in the future, where with the GDPR coming into play in 2018, that was, what's that, 5 years ago now? We're seeing that roll out in more markets outside of Europe. And essentially what it means is that we need to ask for explicit consent. So asking consumers, hey, can we actually use your data with, the form of a pop-up when you go to the website? We're really going to see that with more markets as they follow the kind of GDPR. So that's definitely one thing that's going to change in the future, that it's going to be mandated, I think, by legislation. And Esther just touched on this before as well, like the rise of AI, particularly in our industry as well, Frank. I think especially across, content creation, we're talking about DCO today, AI elements into DCO, absolutely. And then lastly, with the rise of AI, I think it's going to go into the way that we buy and sell media as well. So the way that we bid on audiences and things like that. And we're, at Crimtan, we do have machine learning algorithms in our platform to make sure we're buying, things in an effective way. And then, lastly, I think the other thing is just, we all know about the deprecation of the cookie. It's a massive
oh my gosh
topic at the moment. We're kind of sick of it. It's annoying. We're all sick of it. I think in the short term, we're going to see a bit of like an ID war. So, players are going to kind of try to come out and try to own the space. But personally, what I think is that platforms that take an agnostic approach to it, so picking up the IDs that really kind of, leaders in the market and not using like one single approach, I think those guys are going to come out on top. Lots of change in the tech space. We know it's dynamic, and lots of things happening, particularly this year and more so for next year as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting how the word AI is now being popularized, but in reality is this sort of AI term has always sort of been around, and even DCO itself could be kind of seen as an AI itself as well. And with that said, Esther, I just wanted to ask you, how's the experience been for you using DCO, and how is PPG using it to your advantage?
What we do is we localize it a lot to the demands, needs, gaps of products and services that we want to introduce in the different markets and to the different groups of audience or customers. For example, we've just ran with Crimtan a brand awareness activity in a new market, because for new markets, we can't just go in and advertise without introducing our brand. So that's one of the key challenges, in growing a brand in a market that is very new to us, or where the audience do not know about what we offer. So we also need to find the right audience for our products. It's not a one size fits all. So Crimtan help us do just that. Crimtan help us to target the correct regions, even help us go all the way down to, minute sub-levels, sometimes not even specific cities, because targeting to the masses is not the way we approach things nowadays because of personalization and maximizing the revenue and also the media spend that we have. So we look into the different consumer types and look alike, their search patterns, their affinity, their travel triggers, and a lot more to identify and being able to help us market to them. When building brand awareness or even advertising for ROI, I think it's really important to have the agility to perform a lot of tests and changing our material quickly. We do not have the time to sit and wait 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, to get it out of the way. So with DCO, we were able to do it on the fly very, very quickly with multiple templates. I think we've got probably close to or more than 2,000 today already because we've been with Crimtan for some time.
Yes.
So we are able to come up with multiple combinations, languages to target, different content, different messages, images, and then measure the individual performance all the way down to a singular banner and adjust and optimize it. Because for us, it's all about ROI. It's not just spending money. Reach is not important if you do not get the ROI.
That's true. That's true. I mean, at the end of the day, part of the beauty of DCO is actually also the safety of being able to test things without having to throw in a bunch of money into a country, a region, a campaign, a product. I remember when we were trying to launch Always, it feels a bit safer. The fact that that's just maybe an A/B testing, and if it doesn't work out, you can still pivot back into the breadwinners and your products that's doing really, really, really well. So I see where you're coming from. Josh, so I guess coming back to you then, for the audiences, how can you get started with DCO, and what's needed from the client, and how do you use the client's data?
Yeah, that's a good question, Frank. I think it's and Esther just touched on it before as well. Like, there's so much going on for the Plaza Premium Group. So many airports, so many lounges, so many different personas, demographics. The business travelers, the family travelers, people on honeymoons. People flying from India, Canada, whatever. There's so much going on, right? So it's really understanding that first and foremost. And I guess when you have that, it makes our job a lot easier. If you don't have that, however, it can start with a tagging process. So essentially, we'll have a client put our tag down on the website, and we start to gather those kinds of insights. So it can work in either way, but it is a data-driven approach to what we do. So if for whatever reason we're seeing scale in a particular market, then we'll advise on that. So that's really the first thing, is just understanding the audience, putting it on paper, and then I guess the next thing is just the simple things. Hey, Esther, send us your logo, your assets, any ad copies you want to put in there. You talked about the 25th anniversary. That's important for the brand, putting it out there. We just take all of that, put it into our platform, give it to our design team, and then we get it up and live. So,
but wait, Josh.
Sorry.
Wait. What if the client doesn't have any creative assets now? What if they have nothing? Can they still do it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have those clients who are just starting out and they want to do it because it's exciting for them. So in an ideal situation, Frank, we would love to get the assets from the client because we can just use those parts and put it together. But in the situation where they don't, my next question is, do you have a website? And more often than not, they do, right? You've got to have a website because that's what obviously we're doing digital marketing here. So our design team will go to the website, rip some assets from there, and create something from scratch, really, to make it the look and feel of the website, make that kind of that synergy with your ads and also your website there. So very nimble, very flexible with the approach. It is quite simple. It is complicated, but we try to make it simple, obviously.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's still hope for brands who maybe are still transitioning into digital advertising or don't have their own creative team, or sometimes are just limited in their marketing department effort because they're already doing so many things. That sounds like Crimtan is able to even build the design of the banners for them if that's something that they need help with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. So is there still room for static ads and other channels in Josh?
So, I think, Frank, we've been mainly talking about dynamic or DCO through display advertising, right?
Yeah.
Being a programmatic platform, we plug into many different other channels, digital out of home as an example, CTV, which is an upcoming big programmatic channel, audio, native, everything kind of in between, right? So DCO is really good for obviously getting that direct response. And I think, for Plaza Premium Group, the reason why it works well is because, a personalized creative engages with someone in a way that a static doesn't. It can be more in their needs at the right time. We've talked about that, getting them to convert. But if you're looking for like a more mass audience, things like CTV, definitely something you should be engaging with as well.
So Esther, I have a more direct personal question for you. You being the global marketing director, right? How do you manage all the different marketing activities in different continents for different products?
It's actually very similar to what I managed earlier on. We localize it. You have to localize it by the audience type. You have to localize it by the content, the language, whenever possible, and also the product that you're searching for that is more relevant to them. Obviously, we will have a global strategy and plan, and then we will, our teams on the ground, they will be the local specialists. They know the markets the best. So we definitely work very closely with them to understand the needs and also the travel patterns and the triggers of the customers who are going into those countries and coming out of it, because sometimes they're not the same groups of people. So localization is very, very important.
And it sounds like also you probably want a type of partner that can help you really take off certain chunks of what you need support with and really do it from an end to end. May I say it that way?
Yes, obviously, because sometimes we have to test and learn. We may, as a brand, we will have different objectives. That it is to reach as many people as we can and then deliver ROI, right? But with Crimtan and also in DCO and the reporting, because we are able to drill down to the minutest level, we will then be able to figure out what works best, what doesn't. Sometimes what we think would be popular end up to be something that is not. As we've seen often in some of our few projects, especially with the Aerotel campaign. I think it's something that we can talk about next time. But it's one of the campaigns that really delivered something, I would say, almost overnight. And it was exceptional because it triggered something that we never thought possible. And with DCO and working with Crimtan, you actually help us to realize that. I think that's really important. And then we are able to bring it back to the markets and say, hey, we've tested this and it actually worked. So now you can try it offline with your different groups of customers as well, and also with the different partners that we have, because the approach may not be the same, but the context is there, and it is the building block that we can start to build on for the different countries.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like, well, actually, we are the ones that are working together. And I think one of the things that does help is that Crimtan is allowed to not chase quantity, but quality. And we're able to really look at the gaps that Plaza Premium needs and then take the time to actually figure out the solution to it.
Correct.
I realize we're running out of time. So thank you, Esther. Josh, did you have any last things you wanted to add just to kind of close up the whole conversation?
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Just lastly for me, I think, Esther just kind of touched on a few points there that, when you're going into this, when you have such a dynamic brand with so many different variables, a quick fix solution and, just trying to try something and go all in on it and hoping that you get a result is probably not the best way to go about it. Planning is definitely the first thing you've got to do, and then activating the campaign, doing the test and learn pieces that Esther just touched on as well, super important. And then also the measurement piece as well. That's something that Esther just touched on. So if you're doing the planning, activation, and measurement, and you're continuously doing that, you're setting yourself up for a successful deep dive into DCO and programmatic. I guess my final words, Frank, would be just, it's not a quick fix. It's an investment, and you should go on about it like that.
Okay, we literally ran out of time, so I don't even know if people can hear us anymore or if they can see us. But if they do, thank you, everyone. and we'll
Thank
see you next
you.
time.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Esther. Thanks, Frank.
Bye. Thanks all.